Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my First Amendment rights vlog style. Happy New Year to you all. It's now that lovely time of the year where I shamelessly rip off every music reviewer ever and go over my top 10 worst hit songs of 2017. If you haven't seen my top 10 best songs of 2017, the video is linked in the description, as well as annotated at the end of this video. 2017... I don't know, it started out great, then took a complete shit on itself, and I'd rather not explain why. Thankfully, things appear to be looking better, but before we can go forward, even though Best Songs of 2017 came out before this, we gotta talk about the songs that were really big on the charts and on the radio that bothered the fuck out of me. I'll explain the rules for the list, since if I don't, I'll get a number of comments saying, "What about this song?" The songs have to be charted on the Billboard year-end chart for this year. It's linked in the description for you to observe and confirm that the songs in this list are indeed there. Other than that, I need to find the song to be downright awful, which is not to say that you're an idiot if you like any of these songs, but please allow me to speak my piece before commenting about how much you hate me for putting a particular song on this list. Sound good? Awesome. Let's begin.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 10.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
Shades, this song was overplayed as fuck. Why isn't this higher?
Well, for one, I hardly ever listen to hit radio, and for two, compared to the rest of the shit on this list, Despacito, which, for those that don't know Spanish, means slowly, really isn't that bad. When something is low on a list, that's usually the implication. The guitar is easily the best thing about the song, especially that lick in the intro. And the beat's not bad. Really, the main reason why it's on the list at all is that I don't get what's so great about it that it got overplayed to hell and back, all while annoying a bunch of people in my personal life. The song being in Spanish, with the exception of Justin Bieber's verse, which really seems like it was thrown in for the sake of having a big name attached to the song, is honestly another issue I'm having here. Normally that's not really a problem I have with foreign artists, as that would make me a huge hypocrite for listening to bands such as Rammstein, 1OK Rock, X Japan, and Maximum the Hormone, who mainly sing in their native languages. But let's compare Despacito with the last hugely successful song that wasn't in English. Is he gonna say what I think he's gonna say? Gangnam Style. Gah! Gangnam Style at least had a funny video and a feel that diverted your attention away from the lyrics, and it didn't really matter if you didn't know or understand the lyrics outside of the chorus. Can we really say the same for Despacito? With that song, the lyrics being in Spanish seems more like a gimmick, whereas with Gangnam Style, the Korean lyrics weren't the gimmick. I did look at an English translation of the song, and boy is it not subtle. It sounds like a conversation you have on a phone sex line. I wanna breathe in your neck, slowly. Let me murmur things in your ear. I want to undress you in kisses, slowly. Want you to show my mouth your favorite places. Let me trespass your danger zones until I make you scream.
All right, I am totally flaccid, but thank you anyway, ma'am. I appreciate your time.
Dude. This is a little much, don't you think? And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these prudes that hates sexual lyrics, and I'm not gonna pull what I call a Helen Lovejoy fallacy and say, "Won't someone please think of the children?" I'm just saying there's a line, and the three amigos here are kinda crossing it. Maybe some women are turned on by this kind of shit, but I'm sure most prefer subtlety.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 9.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
Continuing the trend of songs in a different language, here we have a song in French called Mi Gente, which translates to My People. Like with Despacito, I'm having these songs low on the list because I don't want to give off this attitude of hating foreign music, mainly because there are worse things to complain about in a song than it not being in English. Despacito at least had a feel that sounded like Spanish music, kind of like what Carlos Santana is known for, but Mi Gente doesn't have like a French equivalent of that. It sounds like American hip-hop just with French lyrics, and like with a number of mainstream rap songs of recent years, the beat is annoying as fuck and repeats forever. I'd rather listen to that blaring saxophone loop from that Flo Rida song I talked about 2 years ago, GDFR. At least that had some level of creativity and didn't sound like it was lazily thrown together. Another similarity this song has with Despacito is that it also has a popular artist attached to the song, because how the hell else would a song like this get any attention in the American market? This time, it's Beyonce. And just like all the other times I've talked about Beyonce in this series, I'm left wondering, why do people hype the fuck out of her? Lines such as,
"Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. Want my double D's in his bed. Boys start they talking, right as that booty sway."
hardly make her appearance in this song any different from Drunken Love as far as corny sexual innuendo goes. And because I want to be thorough with my research, I again looked up an English translation. And when you look at the translation, the lyrics not only sound really generic, but they make Beyonce's verse sound stupidly out of place. The French lyrics are pretty much your typical let's party crap, like the French equivalent of party rock anthem. Then Beyonce just comes in with corny sexual innuendo. Okay.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 8.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
Another rap song with a boring and generic beat. And it goes on for over 5 minutes. It's songs like that and Boujee that remind me why it might not be the worst thing ever that I'm so out of it when it comes to rap these days. It's one of those songs that just sounds like everything. Since I'm sure most of us here are uncultured swine, Boujee, according to Urban Dictionary, which is a site I always feel really dirty using, apparently refers to, in layman's terms, swag. We really need a new word for this? It already looks similar to the word bungee and makes me think of how much I'd really like to go bungee jumping. Sounds hella more fun than this. I can't really say I'm at all impressed with the flow here either. The song honestly sounds, like I said a little bit ago, boring. And that's a problem I have with a lot of current mainstream rap, or more specifically the trap rap stuff. It sounds boring. And the lyrics making no sense, along with the additions of weird noises the dude makes, is just the cherry on top. The guest verse by one Lil Uzi Vert, weird ass name there, I guess is worth talking about. He for sure has the most annoying voice out of everyone in this song, and the way he enters saying yeah, 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 and then laughing for some reason, quality shit there, man. Now I love memes as much as the next guy, but I honestly think it's kind of sad that memes can contribute to a song's popularity, and this is coming from someone who takes joy in the fact that people started listening to Toto because Africa became a meme. It just makes me think too much of how songs like the Harlem Shake and What Does the Fox Say became huge, especially when the meme isn't even that good. Seriously, all it is just raindrop, drop top, and then adding something that rhymes and saying, look how clever and witty I am, guys. Is there something I'm missing here? Because I have a feeling this is going to be one of those songs where a bunch of people are going to lecture me in the comments about how I don't get it. And you're right, I don't. You're not wrong there, but there's really nothing much that I find interesting here.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 7.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
I was surprised by the number of comments I got on last year's Worst Songs video complaining about Alessia Cara being included. Admittedly, I do think the ordering could have been better with that list, but Cara did not make a good impression on me with Here. That's not to say someone like her doesn't have the potential to improve, even though I don't really pay that close attention to artists like her. But with this song, I'm sorry guys, but I gotta ask, what do you see in her? Scars to Your Beautiful already sounds like a dumb song title, or a mashup of Scars by Papa Roach and You're Beautiful by James Blunt. I say this because beautiful is not a noun, it's an adjective. Learn to grammar, and leave weird shit like that to weird indie rock bands that only a few people understand. The music's better than Here, I'll give it that, but it still sounds for the most part dull. And is it me, or does this sound like the Rocky Balboa theme? If that was intentional, that honestly would not surprise me. Someone like this would use Rocky Balboa music as a symbol of inspiration. And lyrically, how many other songs have been coming out in the past decade about loving yourself and being proud of who you are? I remember when I was in high school, there was, from what I recall, this huge influx of songs all about that from female pop stars. I'm not saying it's a bad message, so please don't get that idea, but what really is Alessia Cara bringing to the table here? If any female viewers of mine find Scars to Your Beautiful to be relatable, that's fine. If I'm stepping on your toes here, I'm sorry. But god damn, are songs like this overdone and kinda try-hardy. If there's any consolation, the song's lower on this list for a reason.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 6.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
You know, for a song called Black Beatles, you'd expect the song to have something to do with the Beatles, but aside from a mention of wearing John Lennon glasses, the one guy saying he and Paul McCartney are related, no the fuck you're not. And the line in the third verse, she's a good teaser, which is basically a direct quote from one of my favorite Beatles songs, Day Tripper. This song has fuck all to do with the Beatles. You'd also expect the song to have a really prominent sample from the Beatles catalog, like the Beastie Boys did with The Sounds of Science from Paul's Boutique, but the only thing we hear is hello, hello from Hello Goodbye in the chorus. Other than that, what the fuck does this song have to do with the Beatles? It just comes off as these guys acting really full of themselves and acting like they're on the level of the Beatles. And this isn't me acting offended because I'm a big fan of the Beatles music or anything like that. It's just so damn stupid. It especially comes off as cocky when we see the guys cheesily playing instruments in the music video, and you can tell they've never touched these instruments before. Kinda reminds me of that one time a certain someone tried to do something similar when he tried to create a rock album. It didn't work when Lil Wayne did it, and it's not gonna work with you guys. You're not rock stars. You couldn't be even if you tried. And even if you did try to learn those instruments and come out with legit music, which I highly encourage you to do, you will never be the Black Beatles. Who would be the Black Beatles anyway? If I had to pick any band to give that honorable distinction to, it'd probably be Living Colour. Not only are they great musicians with good albums such as Vivid, Time's Up, and Stain under their belt, but the members also happen to be all African American. Swell.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 5.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
I know this song's kind of an easy target, but I'd be doing a disservice to this video if I didn't voice how awful of a song this is, because it is terrible. I always hope that whenever there's a dance rap song that comes out and becomes really big, that it's the last one we'll hear, unless anyone decides to dig around and find an underground circuit of dance rap artists. May God have mercy on your soul if you decide to do that. But that's how I felt after Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay fizzled out. And here to fill the void it left is Juju on that beat, with its repetitive lyrics, generic beat, and huge array of filler words like hey, a, and Lego. Can we please not bring this shit from 2007 back? Please. It's also really out of nowhere when in the chorus they say,
You ugly.
Oh, I got the ugly.
You your daddy's son.
you your daddy's son? That's such a weak insult. Yes, I'm my dad's son. Is that supposed to offend me? But I think it's supposed to go along with the you ugly thing. If that's the case, the only person I can see getting offended at that would be Chester McBadbad. His dad wears a paper bag over his head, for fuck's sake. Yeah, there's really not much else to say about the song. It's shit, but you already knew that. Moving on now.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 4.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
Ooh, I can smell a shitstorm coming, possibly. Before I get to actually talking about the song, I just want to quickly mention how I've, for the longest time, been confusing Kodak Black with Cat Black. They have similar sounding names and are both shit. That is all. Tunnel Vision is yet another rap song with a boring-ass beat that makes me feel like I'm not missing much when it comes to current rap, and Kodak Black sounds unenthused as hell. Either that or he got high before recording, which, although wouldn't surprise me, is pretty unprofessional. If you didn't know the background of the song, I'm sure people would look at the lyrics and herald the song as woke AF. They don't want to see you winning, they want to see you in the penitentiary. That doesn't rhyme, by the way. Yeah, our whole society is racist and set up to keep black people down, because they're just vermin to the rest of the world. So woke, guys. Say it louder for the people in the back. Now listen very carefully, because I have a feeling this portion of the video is going to be taken out of context. Am I saying racism doesn't exist? Am I saying there aren't certain cases of black folk being treated unfairly by the police?
No!
But I refuse to believe that the foundation of modern society is built on racism like Kodak Black is trying to imply. And before anyone tries to say anything involving the word history, we're not talking about the far-off past, we're talking about 2017. But the other reason I refuse to look at this song as being woke AF is because it was written in response to rape charges that landed his ass in jail. Sure, there are cases where rape accusations are falsified, and that possibility should always be taken into consideration when investigating these cases. But let's not act like that's the case with all rape accusations. I'm not saying he's guilty, I'm not saying he's innocent, but he's really going to act like getting his comeuppance for possibly sexually violating someone without consent is the fault of systemic racism? That's fucking retarded! What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Gee, it's not like you might have actually raped someone, no. They just want to throw you in jail because you're black. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, pal. And he talks in the verses about how he gets all these girls as if that's supposed to justify anything. That's like pulling the she asked for it card. I don't mean to sound like a social justice warrior at all. I just hate all this deflecting he's doing, especially by making this about race when it most certainly is not. Also, major props to the double agent for pointing this out. Apparently the line,
Ain't a girl I want, ain't a girl I want.
He originally had sang,
Ain't a girl I want, I don't got a ring.
Sounds to me like we've got a case of unwarranted self-importance and some possible denial here. Wonder why I didn't include that in the song.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 3.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
Oh boy, this song's just insulting. And Katy Perry is not someone I like the idea of being talked down to by. Change of the Rhythm is basically Katy Perry's way of saying we're all just mindless drones who care more about stupid shit like music and playing on our phones than we care about actual serious issues going on in the world. We're just slaves to the shit, you know? In other words,
everybody's an idiot except for me.
Makes you feel good about yourself, doesn't it? I can't really say I'm surprised a song like this exists, since we are living in a time where everyone and their dog is bitching about Donald Trump being president and claiming the majority of the country is either bigoted or ignorant and uneducated about certain issues. And by the way, in case anyone jumps to conclusions right about here, no, I'm not a Trump supporter, nor did I vote for him in the 2016 election. I'm speaking as someone who hates being talked down to for not being of a certain mindset, especially by someone like Katy Perry, because she's put out hit after hit since 2008, contributing to the very things she's expressing such disgust with. Remember Teenage Dream? Waking Up in Vegas? I Kissed a Girl? And the worst song I've ever heard from her, Last Friday Night? Yeah, she's definitely one to tell me I'm stupid for wanting to focus more on music and other things that make me happy than political bullshit. She's so punk rock. No, you're not punk. You never were punk. Stop trying to be punk because it's phony as fuck. You can tell this is just a publicity stunt trying to get news articles coming out talking about how woke she is and how we need to get on her level. I'm not saying she can't have these opinions, let alone political opinions in general. If she wants to have ultra-liberal viewpoints, fine. But if you've seen videos like my Buddy Nielsen video and my Castleface Records video, you know that I think there's a time and a place for talking politics in the realm of music and entertainment. That and certain artists are more equipped to have a message like this be a part of their music than others, especially if that's what they're known for, which of course is not the case with Katy Perry. Whether or not you or I agree with them is irrelevant. That's not the point here. The point is, Katy Perry needs to get off her high horse and cut this damn hypocrisy.
'Cause we're perfect as perfect can be.
Number 2.
I hate you and baby you hate me.
I think this is the first time I've actually talked about a country song in this series, since I'm sure we can all agree that none of the Taylor Swift songs I've talked about over the years are country songs. Sure, there are a few modern country artists I find to be somewhat listenable, like the Zac Brown Band, Hunter Hayes, and the rare Brad Paisley song, but one problem I've always had with modern country is that it all seems to sound the same, and none of the artists are at all distinguishable from one another. And Sam Hunt, whose first name I really wish was Mike, is no exception here. The other problem I've always had with modern country is that it's corny and cliched. How do I know? I have a younger brother that plays the shit constantly. So many goddamn songs about drinking, trucks, corny-ass love songs, corn, and songs about back roads. And Body Like a Back Road is a nice representation of these kinds of country cliches. Sure, I like a good driving adventure. The roads that are considered back roads in my area can be pretty fun to drive down, especially when there's a shit ton of traffic everywhere else. But would I really go as far as to compare a woman's body to a back road?
No.
And I think this is probably the dumbest analogy I've ever heard in a song. I get what the simile's trying to say, I'm not an idiot. Her body's really curvy and Sam knows his way around it. But I'm sure even a generic country artist like Sam Hunt and the 3 other people that co-wrote the song could come up with a better analogy than saying her body is like a back road. Because it kind of comes off as him trying to force a reference to back roads because that's what everyone else in country does these days. Not to mention, and I know this point's been made by other music reviewers who have talked about the song, but have you seen actual back roads in southern states? I mean, Sam Hunt was born in Georgia, so I'm sure that's what he's referring to. They do not look pleasant. They look dirty and rocky. The scenery admittedly looks pretty nice, but the road itself? You need to have some patience when you're driving on a dirt road. And yes, there are dirt roads in my area, so I know what I'm talking about. Point is, like I said before, this analogy sucks. And the music sounds lame too. It sounds like the kind of song a drunk hick with a guitar plays at an open mic night at his local bar and thinks he's being smooth. Hopefully no one there is turned on by this, as I like to think even the dumbest of broads have some standards. I only have one dishonorable mention that thankfully didn't make it on the year-end chart this year, and hopefully doesn't carry over to next year's chart. This would be Gucci Gang by Lil Pump. Did anybody else assume that the song was by Gucci Mane, and Gucci Gang was the name he gave to either his crew or his fan base? Because I was not expecting the song to be by a guy called Lil Pump, let alone someone that looks like this. What else is there to say about the song? Most of it is just him saying the phrase Gucci Gang over and over and over. How many times, you ask? 53 times. Fuck this.
'Cause we're perfect as
And my number one...
Shades is your number one song Everyday Bro by Jake Paul.
No.
Why not?
Go to the year-end chart, search Jake Paul, he's not mentioned once.
This song's garbage and Jake Paul's a douchebag.
Yeah, he is, and the song's stupid, I know. England is my city, Disney Channel flow. But I'm not gonna talk about it. If I wanted to see that song get ripped a new one, I'd watch H3H3's video about it.
Ugh, god damn it. You're not fun.
Okay, if it'll make you feel better, I'll have Everyday Bro be my second dishonorable mention. Happy?
I'm never happy.
I'm just gonna get to my number one, and we'll talk about your problems later. See ya, Damo. And my terribly predictable worst song of 2017 is...
I hate you and baby you hate me.
You knew this was coming. This song was pretty much tailor-made, pardon the pun, for this list. When it first came out, I knew it was guaranteed to top the list. For the longest time, I thought I Knew You Were Trouble would be the worst thing Taylor Swift would ever put out. And it still might be. But fuck, Look What You Made Me Do certainly gives it a run for the money. You might say about now,
It's Taylor Swift. What the hell else were you expecting?
and I agree with that. That's pretty much what I would say to anyone I saw posting about how awful the song is. Oh, hello? Taylor Swift has been garbage for years. I guess people's opinions of her might have softened in recent years when her singles from 1989 had probably grown on them, and they accepted the fact that she had pretty much left country for good, but not with me. And still, we can't be too surprised that she would come out with a song like this. The hype surrounding her newest album was that she was edgier and darker, but really this is the same whiny cunt she's always been. The music just sounds different. The old Taylor isn't dead, she's alive and well. She did not get smarter or harder. She's still writing bitchy breakup songs like she always does. It's nothing new from her. It's hardly different at all from I Knew You Were Trouble. Oh, it's supposed to be towards Kanye West? Yeah, I don't like Kanye, but whatever drama went on between the two of them, what with Kanye's I Made That Bitch Famous thing, while I can understand it pissing Taylor off, just doesn't really hold much relevance to me, especially when she's being vague in general in the lyrics. But since I brought that up, let's get some other things straight. Oh boy, dumb celebrity bullshit. Did Kanye make an ass of himself at the 2009 VMAs towards Taylor Swift, which for some reason we're still talking about? Yeah, but then again, it's Kanye. Can we really expect anything different? While I wouldn't call what he did at the VMAs making her famous, and while I'd call the I Made That Bitch Famous line dickish at most, there is still evidence brought forward by Kim Kardashian, of all people, of Taylor Swift approving of the lyrics and a phone call with Kanye, and even going as far as to take it as a compliment.
I know, definitely. It's like a compliment, kind of. Yeah, I mean, go with whatever line you think is better. It's obviously very tongue-in-cheek either way.
Thanks for being, like, so cool about it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Like, the heads up is so nice. Even asking or seeing if I'd be okay with it, and I just really appreciate it. It's like, I never would have expected you to, like, tell me about the line in one of your songs. Just, you gotta tell a story the way that it happened to you and the way that you experienced it. Like, you honestly didn't know who I was before that. It doesn't matter if I sold 7 million of that album before you did that, which is what happened. You didn't know who I was before that. It's fine.
So now it looks like Taylor's being a defensive hypocrite, and she does not have much of a right to act like she's the victim here. I don't even care that the song takes inspiration from I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred to the point where they're given writer's credits. The song still sounds boring as fuck, and her delivery is painfully monotone. You'd think if she really hates this guy, she'd show some emotion, but no. With a title like this, you'd expect the delivery to be like, ah, look what you made me do! Like what physically abusive chodes would say to their partner. But instead we get, look what you made me do. What did she even do? Write the song? I'm sure Kanye or whoever else the song is targeted to feels really bad about that, I guess. Probably not, though. The verses can pretty much be summed up as a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum like,
Where? I don't like you. Where?
and we're supposed to believe she's matured? At this point, I don't even think it's possible for her to mature at any time soon. I mean, she does say in the bridge,
I don't trust nobody and nobody trusts me.
I don't trust nobody and nobody trusts me. Bravo. If that ain't acknowledgement of being beyond the point of no return, I don't know what is. Taylor Swift might have been the only artist to have an album go platinum a few years ago, which still irks me on a pretty personal level, but I hope we can move past bullshit like this. Lord knows I'm ready for some better shit than Taylor Swift, especially if she's going to continue to sound like she does in Look What You Made Me Do in the future. As much as I love Adele and Bruno Mars, I'm ready for some kind of sharp left turn in the pop landscape. I've been ready for quite a while to go down the path to make pop music great again. That's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed this list. 2017 might have been a weird year, but here's to hoping 2018 can be better. Thank you for watching this video, take care, and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.